Thank you for coming to today's class on bringing peace to the present. We're going to do a set an intention for today's class, which is always very helpful. If you're doing meditation at home, it is as well. It steers us in the right direction. We're going to meet with ourselves. We're going to do a body relaxation, breathing meditation, then we're going to pause for a little teaching on being peaceful in the present moment. Some tools and techniques and tips. Just revisiting. So I don't know whether you were aware on the way here, it's an incredibly still evening outside. Hardly a movement of the branches and the leaves on the trees. And already in this class there's a sense of stillness, a really lovely sense of stillness. There's always stillness around us. The air, the space, doesn't have any agenda, any criticism. It doesn't have any problems, doesn't ask anything of us. We're surrounded by calm. Please allow yourself to feel the agendaless space around you, the still air in the room, the calm that is within it. Okay, so we can set an intention to rest today, to rest. We have such busy lives often. Tonight's class, I'd like you to practice resting, just easing into each part of the class. We can allow the stillness in the air around us to absorb. We can absorb that stillness into ourselves. We're part of the room that we're in. So we can set an intention to relax, an intention to enjoy today's class. It's a beautiful spring evening, the birds are singing, the trees are completely still. And we're surrounded by beautiful countryside. In a room that was built out of someone's funding, their direct kindness, and built by people generous enough to give their time to build it. It helps people to have fun in here. People use this room when they're getting married for various things. And I'm sure as everyone experiences, this is a room of peace. And a room of joy. So our determination that we can set today is to feel the presence of spring, to feel that stillness, the purity of the bird song, and the space around us as we go. Please bring your awareness to your body in your chair. Notice how it appears. Perhaps it's Thursday evening, perhaps you've had a busy week. Allow your body to rest. We can always come back to the body, we can always come back to this anchor point. Allow yourself to feel grounded. We're a tiny, meaningful little speck on a huge, huge rock. If there was no gravity, we'd all be having fun now floating around. We're on this chair, gently pinned to it by gravity. Allow gravity to rest your arms, allow gravity to rest your shoulders. If there was no gravity, we'd float off into space, wouldn't we? We'd take it for granted, really. Now we can bring our awareness to our mind. The mind is not the brain. We can cut the brain in half. We can pop the brain in a jar. If anybody tries to sell you a jar of anger on eBay, don't buy it. We can't jar anger or craving or lust or sadness or joy. Our mind is not our brain. So what we're observing are simply the passage of thoughts that our mind is presenting. Please relax and enjoy watching these pass. Just let them pass. Don't try and stop them. Don't push them away. We'll stay like this for a minute or so in a restful way. Restful but alert. If your mind starts to go dull, just apply a little extra effort, not too much. And if your mind follows the story, just come back to observing the thoughts as they come and go. Please bring your awareness to your abdomen. Gently bring your awareness down. That just simply means bring your attention within, sort of around your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, lower nether regions, wherever it is. There's usually feelings floating around in there. Take a bit of time to get to know what's here right now in terms of feelings. Don't judge it, don't expect there to be more there than there is. If there's nothing there at the moment, there's nothing there. If there is, there is. Very good practice to come down into our abdomen and observe feelings. No judgment, just accept what's there. Keep a distance between the observing consciousness and the feeling. If it's very powerful feeling, this gap will want to close very quickly. You can always open it again. Okay, so we've met with ourself. This is a different self from the one last week, different self from the one yesterday, a different self from the one this morning, and a different self from the one that came through the door. None of those thoughts are the same, none of those feelings are the same, subtly changed. None of the atoms are the same. None of the subatomic particles. Subatomic particles are not just things that whiz around in the CERN laboratories. There are trillions of them now inside of us. Subatomic particles, all in flux, in constant change. So we've met very crisply with each moment of ourself. There isn't much to find, really. In fact, there's surprisingly little to find. Now we can move to body relaxation. Please bring your awareness to your face. Just allow your face muscles to relax deeply. Check the jaw muscles, allow them to let go. Allow them to let go of today and all of the past. Now we bring our awareness to our left shoulder. Scan down through the left arm to the fingertips. For any tension we might be holding on to, just let it melt away, let it go. Same with the right arm, from the right shoulder down to the fingertips, checking for tension or tightness. Just maybe there's some subtle holding on. Just let your arms and your hands and your fingers relax. The same from the left hip down to the toes of the left foot. Sitting in this chair, allow the thighs to relax, the calves, the feet and the toes. Same with the right side, from the right hip down. Move your awareness to your shoulders and your neck, keeping your arms relaxed, resting under their own weight. Just allow your shoulders and neck to just be. Let them let go of burdens, worries and stresses. We often carry other people's burdens and stresses. They tell us tales of woe, and a little bit of that woe gets put onto our shoulders without us even realising. Little by little, other people's woes come onto our shoulders. We can have deep compassion for others. We don't have to carry their woes around. We're much more beneficial to others when our shoulders and neck are light and supple. So just imagine the muscles in that area become very supple, very flexible. And imagine any tension or tightness flows upwards from the ends of the shoulders, up the neck, nice and gently, through the head, through the very crown of the top of the head and out into space. Just imagine there's sort of like smoke or rising heat or just energy, whatever feels right for you, flowing upwards and out of the crown of your head, along the line of your shoulders, bottom of your skull and up. Keep your head well balanced on your neck. Just breathing through the nostrils, chin tucked in a little, back comfortably straight. We can rest the tongue against the back of the front upper teeth if we wish. That's the tip of the tongue against the back of the front upper teeth, gently. That can stop too much or too little salivation, which can be a distraction sometimes, but really don't worry if it doesn't feel comfortable to do this. You can leave your eyes slightly open if you want a little light in, particularly if you're feeling drowsy. If that feels uncomfortable, then just keep your eyes closed. Now we're going to relax the abdomen. We're going to visualize, imagine all of our future worries and concerns, stresses, grief, anxieties, problems are all bound up in thick black smoke inside of our body cavity. And with 3 nice, steady, long, deep out breaths, we visualize this black smoke and our breath billowing into the far distance. All of our worries and fears going with it. 3 nice, steady, deep out breaths. And we bring our breathing to its normal rhythm. And we visualize sparkling golden light coming in through both nostrils, starting to pervade our body and our mind, and this sparkling golden light has the power to uplift and freshen our mind, to make it feel light, alert and spacious, and to relax our body. So please enjoy about a minute of gold in breaths, golden light breathing in. Visualize the body and mind filling up, feeling spacious. With the last few in-breaths, imagine this beautiful golden light permeates your body from the crown of your head to the tips of your toes, and the vast space of your mind that has no corners, edges or surfaces. Just gently imagine a vast space of your mind uplifted and fresh. Right, we're going to do the breathing meditation now. Stay in meditation and bring your awareness to the flow of breath in through the nostrils. Observe it coming through the whole cycle down the throat into the lungs, back out again. The breath going in and out. What you're breathing in is that stillness around you that wants nothing, needs nothing. It's just stillness around your body and your mind. Allow that breath to come in, to go out. Allow that stillness that you're bringing in to pervade your body as you breathe it in, to pervade your heart, your chest. Now please bring your awareness to the nostril linings. Notice the cool and the warm as you're breathing in and out. Try to stay aware of these cool and warm sensations. Not striving, just gently, alertly observing. And when the mind wanders away and it comes back, it won't necessarily come back straight to these cool and warm sensations. Your job is just to refine them again. If you've been meditating for a while, you may find that your mind, when it comes back, automatically comes straight back to these sensations. Don't worry if it doesn't, but if it does, that's a sign of progress. Now please bring your awareness to the very rims of your nostrils. You'll notice here as well, there's cool and warm as you breathe in and out, and there's a space which is neither cool or warm in between the end and the beginning of the breaths. Pay particular attention at these points. It's when the mind most easily wanders away. Don't try too hard. Your mind will wander, your mind will come back of its own accord. Your breathing will do itself. Your job is to simply re-find these cool and warm sensations at the rims of the nostrils. Nothing more, nothing less. Please relax. Please relax and enjoy. Allow your mind to become intimately aware of these cool and warm, ever-changing, fresh moments. You can check every now and again, am I still doing it? A little part of the mind checks without disturbing the peace. Before we come out of meditation, we can dedicate this piece to our own contentment and to the protection of those who are vulnerable, and the courage to those who aren't vulnerable to help those who are. And then when it feels comfortable, just gently allow your eyes to open. Remain aware of the peace that's arisen inside of you. Don't judge how much there is, just enjoy it. And gently open your eyes. If you feel very peaceful and you want to keep your eyes closed, feel free. If you're asleep, feel free to keep sleeping. Right, so I hope that was okay. Does anybody have any questions on that from a practical point of view? No? Okay. If you want to...
I've got one quick question.
Great.
I'm noticing when I'm sort of just relaxed that my shoulders are aching sometimes, or feel heavy. When you're sitting there, should you sort of try and relieve that, or just think, oh, okay, it's aching?
I don't know. If it's too much, then try meditating in a different posture. I don't think anyone gets any gold stars for toughing it out. I don't believe in toughing it out. I think you end up just getting disappointed with meditation and not doing it. I know you've meditated for a long time, so I know you're not going to do that, but I think that's the only thing I can add. Yeah, lay down or do it a different way. Or look right into the middle of the pain.
Well, I don't notice it until we're like really relaxed.
Oh,
like,
I see.
You know, and then how's your head and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, my shoulders are aching. Then
Oh, I see.
do I wriggle them around to me, or do I just think, oh, they're aching?
Oh, have a wiggle.
You know what I'm doing when you hear a twitch, you know.
Have you said before, like a warm light, or have I heard that on something else, like the warm sun?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
And then I sometimes get achy necks and shoulders, and I think that kind of
Yeah, you can do that.
feeling of the warmth.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think a general point to make on all this is, especially if you're new to meditation and you might have certain concepts about what it is, how you're meant to be as a meditator. My view is don't sit there with an itch and let it drive you mad and try and conquer it, scratch it. You know, if you by all means play around with, you know, your tolerance levels to itches and scratches and all that, but you know, in my view, just have a good scratch and carry on. If you're scratching a lot, check whether you're sat next to the cat or the dog. I mean, you know. And when we first start to meditate, the body doesn't really want to. It's used to being on a fidgety, movie kind of thing, and that's natural as well. That's quite normal. And I think part of that is the body's resistance to just staying put is to throw up itches and awkwardness and things. Yeah, just treat them however. But yeah, thanks for that. That's a good point. Right. Yeah, thanks. So bringing peace to the present. We all seem pretty peaceful. Job done. Don't need to do anything. Job done. End of class. Genuinely, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, well, it's actually, there's no need to do anything, is there, if we are already peaceful? So, you know, for this to be of any use, it has to come from a scenario of not being peaceful in that moment. But there is a part before I get to that about already being peaceful, that if, as and when, I shouldn't say if, confidence in everyone, when you find some peace, there are certain things you can do to maintain that peace that are helpful. The classic sort of Buddhist training in this is to just not engage quite so much with the outside world. All well and good if you're in a cave, less easy to do if you're in Lidl or Specsavers. And but you know, we can generally try and do this if we find a depth of peace and somebody comes past who's really fit. You can choose to look or not. It may disturb your mind afterwards or not. You might find it, all you can recall for the next 5 minutes is their bum or their eyes or, you know, the way they walk or whatever. You may have lost a bit, but you may not feel like you've lost some peace. It may feel like you've gained something new. But if you check carefully, it will have disturbed that peace. reading the news all the time, it can disturb our peace, can't it? It's not intrinsically anything. We can develop a lot of compassion. Watching Big Brother, or reality shows, and we can get depressed watching too much of the news if we're not careful. So I think it's just skillful practice, if we find some peace in there and we want to prolong it, to just be careful externally with what we're meeting with and what we're choosing to. You can't always choose what you meet with, can you? But to just be, if you find yourself feeling really content and then you eat a Mars bar, you might find some agitation. If you do that, if you find some peace and then you have some coffee, strong coffee, well, deep down, caffeine is just a anxiety inducer. It's just a cup of anxiety. And your mind gets really still so you can sense it, which I couldn't for a long time, but then I could after a while. It's there, it's agitating. And no, this is not to be forced. When you get that peace, when you get a certain level of peace, you'll naturally, like you might want to protect a kitten, you'll naturally want to protect that peace. It will come naturally. And then when your mate says, "Oh, look at her," you'll have a choice whether to look or not. So no, I'm practicing meditation. I can't remember where I live. Yeah. Maybe certain things trigger disturbance in your mind. Like betting on the horses or listening to talk radio, whatever it is. Who knows what it is? Dwelling on your annoying neighbours. Who knows? But we can protect that. So the other thing is, if we are already got mentally busy, and that's all a lack of peace is being mentally busy. So we can do what we've just done, but if we're out and about, we can practice Zazen practice, which is just sitting. So if you're in the doctor's waiting room, if you're at home, if you're at a friend's house, they might think you're nuts. So would you like a cup of tea? What are you doing? Don't necessarily do that unless the friend likes to do it. We can do it in the park. No one needs to know if it's our lunch hour and we're sat in the park. We just sat and just gaze forwards and downwards and be aware of that moment. So we're going to do that now, just for a few minutes. We're going to do a little bit of Zazen practice. This is really direct practice, and you'll be able to do it to the extent that you can in any moment of any day. So there's no need to force it at home, but if you want to try to generate some peace and play around with when you do it. So all we do is literally, the way I guide it anyway, there's different ways, but the way I guide it is to just gently gaze forwards and downwards. There's nowhere to go with this. There's nothing really to do other than keep bringing your mind to the present moment. When it wanders away, it will come back anyway. If the floor gets a bit trippy, things start going on with your eyes and the floor, don't worry, just let that be. It will change again. And just rest in these moments. If your mind's thinking, I'm not sure what I'm doing, that's just a thought. Let that go. And just be in the moment. And observe the thoughts if you want to. Just let them go. Just check quite frequently that you're still just in the moment and everything's arising and passing. You're not the commentary in your head. You're not your body. Just let them come and go like everything else that appears to the mind. Okay. I'm never sure what to say at this point because you're here. There's nothing to come back to, is there? Unless your mind wandered, then welcome back. So that can be a very direct practice, particularly if we've got unpleasantness going on. Still can do it with the unpleasantness. It's just a little bit more, as I say, a bit more direct. If you're trying to figure out what we were doing then, we weren't. That's the whole point, we weren't. Right, so the next little whistle-stop tour on practices for bringing peace to the present is my old pal death. We stress, don't we, about all sorts of things. Money, lack of money, reputation, lack of reputation, criticism, praise, all that sort of stuff. What somebody said, what the future will bring, the past keeps coming up, we don't get that pay rise, our partner doesn't understand us, whatever it is, a million things. And that's just naturally the way the mind functions. It's just the way we are. And that disturbs the mind. All of those things are constantly disturbing the mind, agitating it. What meditating on death does is shines a light on the insignificance and the triviality of all of that. Not in a way to dismiss it at all. It doesn't dismiss it. It's valid. But it puts it in sharp relief in relation to what's really important. And when we meditate on death and we recognise what's really important, those things diminish in their intensity. And when we don't have all those little things whizzing around in our head, we can find peace in that moment. If this meditation depresses you, don't do it, but don't dismiss it either. There might be another time when it doesn't. But it is the best meditation in a moment to just stop that wheel of life, to just stop all that pressure that comes in on us, of all those multitudes of little worries and concerns, and some of the big ones. He's going to die anyway. It's going to happen, isn't it? Might happen today, might happen on the way home. Right, so we're going to do a jolly little meditation on death. Okay. So if you die while we're doing this, there's probably no better irony. So don't worry. So we know intellectually we're going to die. But in our heart, we hold on to permanence of our own self, of our own body. And technically the connection of mind in this body, we hold on to that. For anyone who's interested, the Buddhist technical definition of death is when the mind permanently separates from the body, not at the point of the last breath and the stopping of the pulse. So we can just think, is it true that I may die today? Or is it false? Is it false that I may die today? Can I categorically say that I won't die today? We can contemplate this. This is a form of meditation, contemplation. Is it false? I may die today. This may invoke a feeling in you. It may invoke bliss. It may invoke all sorts of feelings. It may feel very uncomfortable. It's meant to. It shatters our complacency. Is it true? Is it false? I may die today. When some feeling arises in relation to this, or we have a clarity of the falsity, I won't die today, then we can just stay present with that experience and just rest with it like we would the breath. It's said that if meditations were animals, this would be the elephant meditation. It leaves the biggest imprint in our heart. Eventually it moves us deeply. So please don't be afraid to be moved by this meditation. I may die today. I'm not certain to be alive at the end of today. We contemplate for the purpose of coming to a firm realization or view, recognition or feeling, and then we just stay with that. If our mind wanders away, we come back to it. If it fades, we go back to the thought that helped invoke that feeling, and we come back to the feeling once more. We can do this as many times as we wish at home. Please be brave. Please try these things and see how they work for you as a tool. Okay, so we've only got a short time in today's class for this. Please bring with you, as you open your eyes, any recognition you have that you may die today. As you open your eyes, thank you. So if you want to stop a dinner party in its tracks and someone says, "What did you do today?" "Oh, I meditated on death, thanks." You'll have a myriad of responses. Right, well, that's the end of today's class. Please, if you can, practice bringing peace to the past still and the present with these meditations. If you feel that things really are getting on top of you, I couldn't recommend meditating on death enough, but I am aware that for some people sometimes it just has a different effect, and it's just a tool, so use your own discretion. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.